Hello everybody and welcome back to Sweet and Sour Soccer and welcome back to week 3 of Championship predictions. Well, week 1 was our best ever Championship predictions in terms of views. Week 2 was our worst ever predictions in terms of views. So I'm hoping for a bit of stability with this one, guys. I'm hoping you enjoy it. If you do enjoy the Championship predictions, do let me know. If you're a fan of the channel but want to see something different, also let me know. And guys, if you are new here, please do drop a like and also please do subscribe to the channel if you do end up enjoying the content. And let's waste no more time. Let's jump into these Championship predictions. And we're going to start off with Watford taking on Burnley. And what obviously two of last season's relegated teams. They've both started the season pretty strongly. I mean, Sarr's goal, wow. My God, what some goal that was against West Brom, obviously, on Monday night. And to be fair, Watford are looking extremely strong. Burnley, on the other hand, you know, obviously they only managed to get a draw against Luton, but with 72% possession and a convincing win against Huddersfield the week before. Both of these teams are fancied to be quite high up in the table and really give each other a competitive game come Friday night. My score prediction on this one? I think I'm going to go for 2-1. I think there'll be goals. I think both teams will get a goal. I just fancy Watford to edge it. Coming on now to Cardiff taking on Blues. Now, Blues will be extremely happy with their start to the season. 4 points gained and really looking more impressive than a lot of people, including myself, thought they would. Obviously, John Ruddy pulled off some decent saves. He's looking like a very good signing, having an experienced keeper at the reins there. And Cardiff as well, obviously also having both teams really. You expect them to have better seasons than they did last season from what we've seen in the early stages of this Championship campaign. It's going to be a really competitive game. Again, this is most of the Championship fixtures. I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to give it to the home team. A very narrow 1-0 victory is my score prediction on that one. But honestly, it could go either way. Now, let's move on to speak about Sunderland taking on QPR. And Sunderland will be extremely happy with their start to the Championship. Obviously, spent a number of years in League One, but that looks long gone, to be honest. From what we've seen earlier on in Sunderland, campaign so far, don't think they're going to be in and around that relegation battle. I think they're going to be quite safely a Championship team this season and going forward. And a 3-2 comeback, wasn't it? Coming from 2-1 down to win 3-2 last weekend. Just the kind of result you love to see. Taking on a QPR team who, the first game looked a little bit shaky against Blackburn, but since then they're delivered. They're delivered in some style. Obviously, it was a 3-2 win they managed against Borough. 3 goals. I think that was the important thing with that fixture, to be honest. I was a bit worried about QPR and how they finished the end of last season. Yes, 2 goals conceded, but to get those 3, start getting some goals back, obviously will be a big thing. Both of these teams do like conceding from what we've seen so far, but they also like scoring. So I'm going to go 2-2 on this one. I think there will be goals. I think it will be a very end-to-end game. Coming on to Millwall now, taking on Coventry. And I'm going to start with Coventry. What is going on? Second game of the season called off, the pitch not being in the state that it should be. Of course, different events have happened there. The Commonwealth Games apparently have also happened there. Say apparently, I live not near Coventry, but I live in the Midlands. I know stuff has gone on there. But Millwall, didn't win away from home last game, but we know how strong they are at home. And what's also interesting is usually, missing a game this early on in the season, I don't think that's a good thing for Coventry. I think other teams will have got up to speed, maybe got a bit more fitness back, and maybe at another time later on in the season, I think teams might like the rest at times, especially in the Championship when there's 46 games. I don't see that being an advantage at the start of the season now. And I think for that reason, I think Millwall might just be a little bit more on it. And I am going to give it to Millwall. I'm going to give it as a 2-1 result. Again, Millwall are very good at home. Let's come on to Hull now, taking on Norwich. And Norwich, wow. I mean, as usual, tipped to be one of the favourites to come back up into the Premier League. Have not really started how you would have expected them to. Yeah, just a bit of a shocking start to the season for them. Hull City, they will obviously be very happy with their start to the season, and obviously coming back home, it's going to be a competitive game. Obviously, bookies have got Norwich heavy favourites, and you can maybe see why, because you do expect Norwich to gain some form, but eventually, surely. But I don't know with this one, you know. Who am I going to give it to? I'm going to go down the middle. I'm going to go 1-1. I can't decide a winner in this one. I just haven't been convinced with what I've seen from Norwich so far. And Hull have been pretty impressive. They have so far this season. Coming on to Blackpool taking on Swansea. Blackpool both lost the last league fixture, actually. And Swansea in particular, a really bad start to the season for Swansea. One of my favourites, I thought, going into this season. I actually placed them to get a playoff spot. Thought everything was in line to start the season really well. That has not materialised. They obviously go to Blackpool. And I don't want my prediction to be terribly wrong in terms of Swansea being a team to watch this year. So I think I'm just going to have to back a Swansea win. Otherwise, I'm going to start looking a bit like an idiot. Blackpool do get a goal, though, so I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory in this fixture. Coming on to Luton Town now, taking on Preston North End. And Luton Town, as we know, a bit like Millwall, they're always stronger at home. Of course, remember back to last season, it was a home record that got them, obviously, into those playoff spots. It wasn't their away performance, although it was still good. It was the home performance, which was really what really engaged them into getting the points to make it into the playoffs. Preston, on the other hand, you know, they come into this, well, both teams come into this actually needing that both needing the first wins of the season. I'll get my sentence out eventually. This is going to be a good game. Again, competitive. Still haven't sussed out Luton. Are Luton going to be a team that's way off what they were last season? Are they going to be thereabouts again? I haven't quite sussed what I think of Luton Town yet, actually. But because they're at home, I'm going to give them the win. I am going to give them a narrow 1-0 victory over Preston North End. We come on now to Rotherham playing Reading, and of Rotherham, the other team which was affected by the Coventry situation. Yeah, I imagine if you're a Rotherham player, the Rotherham manager, the Rotherham fans, you're a bit angered by that, to be honest. You know, at least from a Coventry perspective, they're accountable. It's their fault why the game didn't go ahead. Well, maybe. I mean, obviously the Rico Arena is leased out and stuff. I know that's a bit out of actually Coventry's club's hands, so maybe I'm being a little harsh there. But yeah, they will have been affected by that. Coming up against the Reading team, well, if you listen to the bookies, people are saying this could be a bit of a clash for relegation come the end of the season. I'm going to give it to the away team now. I'm going to give it to the away team. I think, again, Rotherham not having that second game of the season, I don't think it's good to have a rest this early on. I don't think that will be beneficial to them for that reason. I'm going to give it Reading, and I'm going to go for a 3-1 prediction. Coming on to, well, Huddersfield Town versus Stoke City, and Stoke will obviously be a bit more captivated after getting the win last weekend, but they're taking on a Huddersfield Town team which they don't look on it, do they? Let's just be completely honest. Still don't look at the races. Fitness-wise, don't look up there. And a long way away from what we saw last season with Huddersfield Town. And for that reason, I can only give a Stoke win, 2-0 to Stoke. Moving on to our next prediction quite quickly. Wigan taking on Bristol City. And Bristol City, well, it was a team I watched most closely last year just because of the amount of goals that they shed. And sadly, it looks like that has continued despite bringing in defensive reinforcements. Already 5 goals conceded this season. Wigan, obviously, be absolutely delighted. They got the result against Norwich. Well, it's interesting with Wigan because their first game, they had 20 shots, of which only 5 of them, I believe, was on target. Against Norwich, 6 on target, but they got a goal. Obviously, the 20 shots on the first game didn't result in a goal. It's going to be interesting. I think they're going to get a lot of chances in this one. I do feel for Bristol City's defence. But I think the points will be shared. I think I'm going to go for a 1-1 result because it's not very often that Bristol don't score themselves. Coming on to Middlesbrough now, taking on Sheffield United, and this is probably one of the games where you expect it to be one of the games in the upper half of the table. They're going to be, both teams I think will be very near the top come the end of the season. But from what we've seen of Middlesbrough so far, they've not really started off on that form. Sheffield United, I think they look a really good team. I do. I think I'm quite confident that they're going to be in around that playoff picture, if not higher, come the end of the season. They really do look like they're set for another really good season. I do feel Middlesbrough will be in a thereabout as well, just maybe not started the season how they would have wanted. Could this be a chance for Middlesbrough to get their first win? That is the question. I think I am going to give it the home team. I'm going to go for a 2-0 result in this one. Coming on to Blackburn taking on West Brom, and there's a lot of questions around Blackburn. How would they start the season? How would they perform in the season in general? Of course, Tony Mowbray departing, new change. They lost a couple of players as well. But when you look at West Brom as well, they've obviously started the season quite strongly on 4 points at the moment. But that game with Watford, for me, just showed that both of those teams are going to be in the upper part of the table come the end of the season. I think West Brom and Watford will both be really fighting for those automatic places from what I saw. Some really good football being played, but they do go away from home against a good Blackburn team that started off the season really well, obviously scoring 3 goals last weekend as well. So, yeah, they've got the goals. The goals have come back, which is a positive because that was something that they really struggled with in the second half of last season. It looks like the goals have come back. This is going to be a hard one to predict. I'm going to go a 1-1 result on this fixture. I think it'll be 1-1. And, guys, that is the last fixture. I flew through them today. Let me know your thoughts in the description. Let me know your thoughts. Also, please do subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And as I said at the start of the video, let me know if you wanted me to continue with these. Let me know if you enjoy them, because unfortunately, I don't know if I just left just honestly, I don't know if I left the video a little bit too late to bring out last week, but just really didn't get many views. So I'm hoping this one does better. And if you have enjoyed it, do help me out by liking and subscribing, because that will also help me get more views on this video. Hope you have a good week, guys. Take care and goodbye.